Hi guys, this is Michelle Johnson. I'm an IFBB bikini pro who also competed in fitness and figure. I'm a writer for worldwide magazines including Muscle and Fitness Hers, RX Girl, and over 100 publications online and in print. I've also been a speaker for IHRSA, Club Industry, and Suburban Hospital. I've spent most of my life struggling with my weight and trying to figure out what diets work. So I'm here to talk to you today about a very hot topic, dieting. What works? And some tips about dieting, some facts about dieting that I think would benefit you. So if you're listening and you have any interest in losing fat, inches, gaining muscle, losing weight, whatever it is, I have some great information for you tonight. I've already done my Facebook Live, so there is a video up there now that you can watch after. But what diet works? The diet that works is the one that you're willing to embrace and follow. There's been many times I've had clients come to me, get on a program, and learn a lot, get their results, and then maybe they switch coaches, and then they really take the ball and run with it. The reason that happens is because dieting is a practice. Just like anything that you want to be a master at or be really good at, you have to practice it. And it's important when you're practicing something that you're practicing the right things. So you have to know what you're supposed to practice so that you don't create a lot of bad habits, thinking that you're creating healthy habits, which may not be healthy at all. And you really need to appreciate some basic things about dieting that I'm going to give you some tips about shortly. But what's important, first of all, is that you're really ready for whatever you're about to embark on. And is there ever a real ready? That's really a question to ask. So most importantly is you have to know your why. Why are you doing this? Are you really invested in it? Is it something that you trust? If you're working with someone that you trust that person, that there's proof that this person has the credentials to help you. Because if things go badly, it's very discouraging and a lot of side effects can happen and negative results. And if you're somebody that's looking for an easy way out with this type of thing, it really isn't as hard as you think it is to diet, but it's also not as easy as you think it is. It's one of those things where it's about finding the balance. You do have to apply yourself. You do have to work towards it. So depending on how bad your habits are is how hard this may be for you. Because what works across the board. It's not with one special, unique person with certain genetics or a certain age. You can change your habits and achieve results at any age. And you can also self-improve really, right, at any time in your life that you choose. You say, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm willing to do it. But if the diet's going to work, mentally it has to work for you. But there, again, has to be some application on your part. So understanding that it has to work with your life. If it doesn't meet your lifestyle, if it's something you're doing and you really don't have the foods that are convenient for you, if you're a very busy person, you do need some things that are easier. So getting that customization is important. So if you were to just find a book, pick a diet, and it is the right amount of calories, the food choices might not be right for you because they don't really meet, number one, the things that you like or gravitate towards. So there has to be some things that are within your scope of habits, but also places where you're changing some habits. So you don't want to over bombard yourself right away and just change everything and go cold turkey. It is kind of, for some people, food can be an addiction. So the alcoholic thinking with AA and places like that, there are some tips and things that they do that make sense. But if you're not a food addict, a lot of times the reason you're binge eating and you probably think you're an emotional eater or a binge eater has to do with the fact that you're not balancing your sugar levels correctly, or you're triggering fat hormones versus triggering fat burning hormones, and your insulin levels are off. If you're missing meals, you're not getting food in enough, you're lacking satiety, the calories are too low, you're setting yourself up for binging. You're setting yourself up for your body to gain weight back with a vengeance. So it's important that you know how many calories approximately you need. Now, I don't believe calorie counting is a perfect science. You could sit there and do your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, and get a number. And then that day, you don't just work out with your usual pattern. You move and you move 10 boxes. So you're going to burn extra calories. But you do want to range. You want to understand the macros about how much protein you need. You do need some guidelines. And all these apps and things out there, you can take the same diet and put it in 5 different apps and you'll get different information. So just be aware of that. What you want to know about is how proteins, carbs, and fats react in your body. That's what you need to know. Protein, fats, and carbs. If you think you're going to go on a diet and get rid of all the carbs, that means no vegetables, guys. Did you know that? Carbs, vegetables are carbs. I've got news for you. When people get diets and they tell me they don't have carbs on their diet just because I didn't put a bunch of grains, which by the way, they now say are not good for you and can change your hormones in a negative way and trigger fat gaining and reactions with insulin. And even your DNA could be changed with some grains because grains were man-made. What people don't realize is that grains and all that came in as fillers when people were poor or there was the ice age and people couldn't hunt as well. There was, scarcity of food. So grains were developed as fillers. And, that's why we have all these mass-produced foods with lots of fillers in them and why we have all this obesity and these negative side effects with hormones, because foods are being mass-produced with things that they can easily mass-produce. And that doesn't make it good for you. So within your body, you want organic, you want natural, you want a balance of your proteins, carbs, your healthy fats. You don't want fat-free. You don't want this all or nothing thing, no carbs, all paleo, this, that. Now, the paleo diet does make sense because genetically and DNA-wise, our bodies assimilate those foods very readily and easily, right? But if you're a person that eats carbs now, to just knock them all out isn't realistic for you. So what you're doing, you want to make sure is realistic to your life and what you enjoy. And you need some customization with that. You need to understand the timing of your carbohydrates so that they're not the enemy. And in the sport of bodybuilding, those carbs can do you good. They can fill out muscle bellies and they can have a great effect on your body at the end when you're getting ready to get on stage. So you get to see the play of carbs and fats together and how it helps tighten the skin. So that's something, again, I'll say, it helps tighten the skin. So you want to pick a program that makes sense with hormones. And the very first thing I tell people is get a metabolic test. Get your basic baseline of your metabolic testing and make sure you get that done with a doctor and really request the hormones being checked. If you're someone who has a very hard time losing weight, get that cortisol checked. What a lot of people don't realize is if you have very high cortisol, losing weight will almost be impossible for you because it's likely if you're taking stimulants, you drink a lot of coffee, you're doing a fat burner, you took diet pills, you're now killing it in the gym all the time, you're going on very low calorie diets. All that affects cortisol. All that stress in your life affects cortisol. Anything that's activating cortisol, and if it's continual, eventually your body stops developing it and you can actually have terrible side effects where you don't lose weight and you don't know why. And this is what people refer to, I believe, as a metabolic syndrome, adrenal fatigue, those kinds of cases come up. And there are some diseases that relate to cortisol, like Addison's. So it's important that you understand that you've got to understand the emotions and how that affects your dieting as well. So getting foods that support your hormonal levels is crucial. And you want to be sure that you're not eating foods that trigger fat. So some of the foods that help burn fat are almonds. Any sort of dairy products can be very beneficial, even though there are people that believe dairy is not good for you. It's really the calcium and things that can help you burn fat. So don't eliminate dairy unless you're intolerant to it. If you have an intolerance to foods, remember that's going to have an adverse effect on you to be able to lose weight. So I would also get a food intolerance test and find out what's working against your body and keeping you inflamed. Anything that inflames your liver, like too much alcohol or bad, unhealthy, unnatural foods, gets doesn't get processed in your liver, and that's a problem. That's where your nutrients get absorbed. So if you're screwing up your liver, you have to understand you're not going to get the nutrients you need to stay healthy. And the same with your kidneys. If you're overloading it with so much protein in one meal, and you're a person who eats 3 meals a day and 40 grams of protein, or you're just overdoing it, that puts stress on your kidneys. And then your kidneys, are going to have a negative effect. You could even be at risk for kidney failure. So we want to keep our organs healthy. And aside from that, digestion. So I'm going to go back to this, what we're digesting each and every day that triggers fat, burning hormones. That's what we want. Turkey and lean meats, berries, healthy fats like CLA, almond butters, healthy nut butters. But people can also have an intolerance to nut butters as well as eggs and almonds. Just keep that in mind. So notice how you feel after you're eating some of these things, because even though they're on the list, if you're intolerant to them, they're not going to be good for you, right? Fatty fish, salmon, tuna, those are all great choices. Cod, whitefish, assimilates very easily in your body. That protein gets digested quickly rather than fermenting like something like chicken. Grapefruit and whey. So we want to make sure that we're getting things that affect our body in a positive way. And even though there's lots of lists out there, lots of foods people swear by, if you're intolerant to it or you're not able to digest it properly, for some reason it's just causing you gas and bloating or constipation, this isn't good for your body. And if you're getting a ton of protein, not enough water, not enough healthy fats, oils, and things in your body, fiber, you're not going to be able to digest that protein fluidly. And it's going to get stuck and ferment. And if your gut gets unhealthy, guys, your gut is your health. If you don't have a healthy gut, you're not getting your probiotics, your digestive enzymes, and you're really flushing that body, that stuff gets backed up and it can make you very sick and septic. So you've got to use the restroom, you've got to clear and do whatever it's going to take. See your gastroenterologist. So if these baselines aren't here, healthy hormones, good digestion, healthy organs, along with a good diet that has some really good habits and timing those carbohydrates, the protein, the fats in the right way so that you are able to reach your goals without having insulin resistance. Because an apple, berries, all these things have different glycemic index levels. But if you're eating bananas first thing in the morning with your oatmeal, you've just got sugar stew. Not a good thing. It's just going to spike your sugar levels up, and then they're going to crash, and you're going to store a lot of fat. So you need to be utilizing these carbohydrates. The best time to get a meal like that would be post-workout. If you want a ton of sugar, eat it post-workout because your sugar levels drop. And by putting that sugar back in your body, everything levels out. The same thing with getting that protein in the morning. When you're sleeping all night, breakfast is breaking the fast. You've been fasting all night. You need some protein. Healthy fat is beneficial. Pre-workout. This is a better idea than getting carbs before you work out when all you're going to do is burn sugar instead of fat. These are facts. This is science. This is what works. This is where people get confused. They think they eat healthy. They know nothing about timing these nutrients, which are essential in our bodies, because we don't want to go no carbs. We don't want to go no fats. We don't want to eliminate proteins. Even if you're a vegan and a vegetarian, I encourage you to get to know protein. Quinoa, 6 grams of protein. I don't count that as a protein. If you weigh 130 pounds, you need 130 grams of protein per day. Divide that by 5 to 6 meals because you need to be eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, whether you're a vegan, you're paleo, you're a bodybuilder, you're just trying to lose weight in inches. That's what you need. That's what your body needs. That's how your body's going to start losing fat versus storing it. So the diet that's going to work, guys, is the one that makes sense to your lifestyle, that has some of these important basics, and that you really understand. I just want to mention one more thing, like eating an apple, even though it's healthy, if you don't eat it at the right time, it's no different than a starchy carb. It's going to convert to sugar. The difference is an apple has nutrients. Sometimes fruit is very hard on people's liver. I'm intolerant to fruit. So alcohol, fruit, negative side effects on my body unless I go with drier wines and I'm careful what I'm drinking that doesn't have gluten as well, because I have found out I'm wheat and gluten intolerant. So I've noticed every single time I eat those things, I have a negative side effect. And for a long time, I couldn't lose weight because I also learned I had some hormones lacking that are very important in order to burn fat, to have energy, and to be able to get the results I wanted. Once I found out my food intolerances, got my hormones fixed, and I am almost 49 now, so that's important. Things do change perimenopause. That's why you start to see those things. But you should be able to apply yourself with eating this way and also working out and get some results. And if that's not happening, get your cortisol checked, get your leptin checked, get these hormones checked, get that basic metabolic test done with your doctor, and be sure you keep your organs as healthy as possible, and get to know someone that you trust that can give you a program that's going to work. Again, it's practice. So the diet that's going to work is the one you're willing to work and that has the right things in place with the right timing, and your body has to be set up in a way that's healthy and balanced, or you're wasting your time. Does anyone have any questions? Hi Kales, how you doing? Hi guys. Oh, thanks for saying I look beautiful. That's really sweet. I'm glad you like the information, guys. And any other questions? Because I'm about to go. But again, the diet that's going to work. I've had a lot of clients come to me. They do a program. They do great. They change coaches thinking the information might be different. I know they find out it's really not. The difference is they respect the information and now they're ready because they've had some practice. So once they get on another diet, they're going to be even better at it. And I'm grateful to know that I instill good habits in people, because my goal and what I aim for is to help inspire you to develop healthy habits and to live the life you dream of. And so you stay motivated and can achieve some amazing things in life. Oh, okay, I'm not going to get off yet. Hold on. How do you control your sweet tooth during the holidays? Oh, okay, excellent. And Tati, I'll get to yours too. Your sweet tooth during the holidays, what you need to do is strategize. Don't miss your meals. Get protein with each and every meal. And try to get a carb maybe every other meal. If it's before you work out, don't get a carb before you work out if you're trying to lose fat. Unless you're doing a marathon or something that requires endurance training and you're not making fat loss a goal. And after you work out, get your carbs. But make sure that you get your meals in. That's the most important thing. And especially before you go somewhere where you know they're going to have some sweets. Have a protein shake or something before you go. Because if you're hungry, you're more likely to binge and eat the wrong things. Or maybe don't control the sweet tooth. Just have a bite of a couple of things. Just one bite. You don't need a whole piece. And then Tati, anything good to make sure to control the cortisol level? Yes, stress management. That controls cortisol levels, but also not overdoing it in the gym. People go below their basal metabolic rate. If they are underneath that rate, and you can do that calculation online, especially your RMR, you're losing muscle. You're also putting unnecessary stress on your body when you don't get enough calories and you're banging it out in the gym and you're overtraining. Overtraining is stressful, and stress on the body, whether it's dieting or training, and then you also have stress in your life because, especially if you're a competitor, people go into these competitions and it adds a lot of stress because there's timing involved. Gotta focus on the timing. Guys, you may not like that. You may not like that you have to consider time management, but it's a huge part of successful dieting. You have to be able to get those meals in no matter where you are, plan ahead. And while you're focusing on a goal, you make these adjustments. Once you reach the goal, you do want higher calories. You do want to go back to regular habits, but you're not on and off a diet. You're still eating similar things. You're just eating more of them, and you give yourself a few more allowances. But you never want to think when you're on a diet, and dieting is it's just food, okay? When I'm talking about diet, I'm talking about eating. Not thinking of it as a negative connotation of diet, because diet makes people think, oh, I'm on this, now I'm off it. Now I can have whatever I want because I succeeded. That's where people get in trouble. You need to keep going. You need to incorporate it into your lifestyle. Once you let your guard down, guys, a lot of times, you know what's coming, the next and the next, and you'll keep telling yourself, and the more carbs and sugars you eat, the more you're triggering those fat-gaining hormones, and your body is being cued now for sugar. The ghrelin levels get cued, and that makes you crave, and that makes you hungry, and that makes you think you want things you don't want. When you look at sweets, when you look at these bad things, just remember to tell yourself, is it worth it? Do I really want to go backwards? Think of how hard you work to get to where you are. Think about how this has gotten you where you are now if you haven't achieved your goal yet, and how it's a bad thing. There's nothing healthy about a lot of sweets. Some natural sugars and sweets are good, but if you're getting crappy things and you're putting them in your body, you need to think about, why am I putting this in my body? Why do I want things that aren't natural, that are not even real in my body? Do I really want cancer? Do I really want to screw up my liver? Do I really want to harm myself this way? If you can't get control of that, there's a deeper underlying issue, and this is not going to help a diet. So when you're trying to succeed on a goal, you have to fix your mindset. Fix the hormones. Make sure that everything's in place. It's set up and ready to go before you even start. You also need the right direction. So hiring a good coach, not just thinking you eat healthy. If you're not looking balanced, you have goals and you're not meeting them, there's a reason. Find out the why. Know your why. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to get out of this? And just keep things balanced overall. The body reacts best to balance. But when things are out of balance, that's what your body's telling you and why you're struggling. And that's it for now. I hope that you found this live video helpful on dieting and what diet works. I'm Michelle Johnson. I write for fitness magazines worldwide. I'm an IFBB Bikini Pro. I've competed in figure and fitness. I run a competitive and professional bodybuilding team called Team Knockouts. You can find them at www.team-knockouts.com. I also separate from competition stuff weight management information at quickfitrx.com. The reason I do that is some people don't want to be bodybuilders, but I have to tell you, the information, whether you're bodybuilding or just trying to get in shape, is exactly the same, because this is science. This is what works. This is how the body responds to these things. And I also have michellefitness.com for people that like more holistic coaching, maybe have some health issues and you're trying to resolve those. Many of these habits work for health issues as well, like diabetes, high blood pressure, timing, and works with your sugar levels. Your sugar levels impact a lot. Getting too much sodium impacts a lot. All this plays out into what's going to work, and it's really all similar information. It just has to be customized for you and your life and what's convenient for you to grab and go or cook at various times, or what choices make sense to the time you're doing this or that, and making sure you're not missing those meals so that you can stay healthy with your metabolism, not going under your calories, not going low carbs, not because, again, like I said, vegetables are carbs. So if you think you're low carb in it and you're eating vegetables or in fruit, carbs, those are carbs. And if you don't utilize them, they turn to sugars. Now, green is better than colorful because colorful is full of sugars. So you want to minimize that, especially if you're inactive at a particular time, like night. You don't want to be drinking your carbs like wines and all that stuff with full of sugars, and some drinks now don't have carbs, so you guys can find those. But needless to say, you get the point, and I want to thank you again for watching. Have a great evening, everyone. Hopefully this helped answer some of your questions around dieting and what diet works. Good night, everyone.